Hello, possums. Yes, it is I, the conspicuous moo. So have you been doing mythic keystones as a tank? You probably would have noticed that the new meta is now the kiting meta, because the mobs are basically hitting us far too hard with their melee attacks, and basically we need to keep some distance. Now this just annoys your melee DPS, but there's really not a lot you can do about it. I know I apologise to my guildies once we get to that certain key level, and at my gear levels it's 6 or 7. Anyway, the developers say that, we've noticed tanks in Mythic Keystone dungeons feeling pressured to spend more time running away and less time actually tanking than we'd like. Now, we're not feeling pressured, it's that we die. That's the bit. You see, we die if we just, tank them where we stand. Anyway, in an effort to address this, we're dialing back the tank damage of a number of dungeon denizens who've proven to be particularly painful, and we will go through a couple, but, it's good that Blizzard have actually recognised that this is a problem. And that, I don't know about you personally, but, kiting constantly doesn't make me feel tanky, it's not, it's easy enough to do on a Brewmaster, but, it's still not enjoyable. So it's nice to see that, at least some of the mobs in these dungeons have been addressed. Certainly not all of them, and there's still plenty to kite in here. There's still plenty of mobs in all of these dungeons, which you would probably be better off not standing in front of for too long. But anyway, we'll go through the nerfs. The biggest change, and I wish it had come a little earlier in the week, but never mind. The Tyrannical affix is going to only have 30% increased health instead of 40. You will have noticed this week on some bosses, the bosses will take forever to die, and some of these bosses are designed with particularly lethal mechanics, so you have to get them down as soon as possible. So having that much additional health can really be a problem. So they've just reduced that a little, given us a slightly better window. I'll take it. The headless client ARF combo is always one that I regularly use cooldowns on, because there's a lot of damage going out, and if people miss interrupts, etc., we're not brilliant players by any means, so this is going to happen quite a lot. So yeah, the damage has been substantially reduced on those, and especially the discharge as well. So very, very welcome, because that can be a bit of a sticky pull. The Atelier Deathwalkers, which are kind of like the Sunken Temple mobs back in Classic, you die and then the ghost would slowly come towards you. Their melee damage has been reduced by 25%. This is excellent for damage dealers and healers as well, because they will just wander around and chase you, and like the Spiteful affix, if they catch you, it's rather painful, so excellent. I didn't really have any major problems with the Dross Soul Cleaver damage, so it's a welcome change, but it doesn't really affect me so much. The Rotting Slime Claw can get really nasty the higher you go up in keys. I don't get that high, but it's still definitely noticeable, and their damage has been reduced by 50%, which is enormous. The Chamber Sentinels, which are the Gargoyles and Sanguine Depths, have their initial damage reduced by 50% when they're casting Severing Slice. Very welcome. Frenzy Ghouls with the Shadow Claws, because its magic damage can be a bit painful, so they're going to cast it less frequently, and the Insatiable Brute's slam damage has been reduced by 21% and is also cast less frequently. And you do see quite a lot of less frequent casts in some of these changes. For example, in Spires of Ascension, the Ether Divers are going to cast Insidious Venom less frequently. Very, very welcome. If you don't have a balanced druid in your group, or you've only got one set of leg sweeps, this can get quite painful quite quickly, just because of the frequency of the cast. And on a bolstering week, of course, if you don't get them all down at the same time, it'll get a little bit sticker. The Forsworn Kyrian's Dark Lash cast time has been increased to 2 seconds, so that gives another 0.5 seconds for your DPS to correctly interrupt this cast. Good luck with that, everyone. In the Necrotic Wake, the Zolram's Bonecarver's Boneblade bleed damage has been reduced by 70%, and its duration has been halved to 10 seconds, so wow. that's quite a nerf. But they've also fixed something that the bleed effect was being reduced by armor, which I didn't know about, but bleed effects are usually magic, so they're meant to bypass armor altogether. I still think we got the better side of the coin there. Brewmasters, all tanks are not comfortable with bleed damage, but Brewmasters in particular don't really like a double dot running on them, so probably if you're a Kyrian, this is just completely meaningless, because you can just file it off, but for those of us who actually chose decent covenants, that's a very, very welcome change. And the Skeletal Marauders will cast Gruesome Cleave less frequently. Once again, I haven't really had that many problems with them, but maybe I'm just not doing high keys enough to notice it. And the unyielding contender's vicious strike damage has been reduced by 20%. Meh, but I'll take it, you know? So, what does this mean? Well, it means that you're going to be able to stand still and make people a lot more happy in your Mythic Dungeon runs. Does it change all of the mobs, which are, you know, potential outliers? No, but I think some of them are intended. You know, you're supposed to kite some of these mobs. You know, from a brewmaster's perspective, this still doesn't change the fundamental problem that, you know, stagger with shuffle up is still 20% less stagger than, you know, stagger with Iron Skin Brewer. Now, you know, I thought it was going to be a like-for-like replacement, you know, so we're going to take Iron Skin Brew away because it's boring just pressing, it was the 4 key on mine. You know, just maintaining it is dull. So we'll build it into a passive instead. So yes, okay, great, good idea. It was boring anyway. But they've started as 20% lower because they're basing our stagger off the gear, which is still a very, very stupid decision. So, you know, that still hasn't been fixed. So we're still going to be sparkier than we really should be at this point. And I will keep bothering them about that. But, you know, overall, it's been a good day for tanks. Now, as with Columbo, there's just one last thing. I've gotten all twitchy, yes. So I've decided I was going to try this out the other night, and we had a raid, and we were terrible, but we did have a lot of fun. So, and, you know, if you are interested, or if you have some difficulty sleeping if you're in the United States, our normal raiding times are Wednesdays and Sunday nights, so I'm just going to put them out there and see if anyone wants to come along. We are definitely crap. We're not very good at all, but we do have a lot of fun, and we play a lot of silly music and stuff. You probably won't be able to hear that, but I'll probably be singing along to at least some of it. And it does tend to get a little sweary at times, so it's not a family-friendly channel. Okay. Raid time usually kicks off at 8 PM, Australian Eastern Standard Time, that's Melbourne time. 10 AM in London, 4 AM in Washington, and 2 AM in California. Finally, before I go, I'm getting that bear. I love that bear. Have you seen the bear? The bear for the 30th anniversary. Oh my giddy aunt. I'm going to buy so many WoW tokens today, it's unreal. But I must have that bear in my possession within this hour. Anyway, I just thought I'd give you a quick update on how that was all rolling out, and I'm going to toddle off now. I'm probably put the air conditioning on because it's getting rather warm in here. Okay, I'll catch you later. I am the conspicuous moo, and a very big blue frosty bear for you.